On screen right now, I'll teach you how to step by step set up a solid Facebook ad from scratch. And when we do this correctly, it'll mean a new ongoing stream of revenue for you and your business. But how am I so sure that Facebook ads still works? If you just take a look right now on screen, if I go to the Facebook reports third quarter 2021 results and yearly financial results, they're still seeing year-on-year growth on their active user base and advertising revenue. So taking a quick look at the ad revenue right here, you can see that there is tremendous year-on-year growth and that there's no sign of slowing down yet. And there are almost 2 billion active users every day that we can still reach. And let's not forget, this also includes Instagram. So this is the reason why myself and the team are spending tens of thousands of dollars every month on Facebook and Instagram ads across our businesses with a pretty decent return to this day. Although lots has changed with the Facebook ads since my days working as a digital marketing manager in the corporate world. So let's go ahead and get stuck into the tutorial, see what's different and see how we can still set up great Facebook ads. And by the way, drop a like and subscribe if you find today's video useful. It's always appreciated. So the absolute very first thing you want to do if you don't already have an account is head onto the URL business.facebook.com and then you'll want to create a new business account. First, you need to log into your Facebook account and then create a new business account. So once you have that done, you're going to head on to Facebook Business Manager. This is a fresh account, so we can follow along here. And this is your Ads Manager account. And we want to familiarize ourselves with how to navigate this interface. So firstly, we have the campaign section. So the campaign section and the campaign view is where we get an overview of everything that's happening, all the ads that we're going to set up. Then the ad sets is the ads underneath the campaign. And then finally, you have the ads itself underneath ad sets. So it sort of trickles down and we have a flow-on effect from campaigns to ad sets to ads. The campaign structure is very important and I'll mention more about that in a moment. We also have the column section, and this is very important in analyzing our ads, our performance, and getting more detail from all our campaigns. Then we also have the breakdown effect. So this breakdown column is essentially giving you, again, more detail about the ads and more efficiently viewing our data. So data is very important when it comes to Facebook ads. And then finally, you have reports where you can generate reports and custom reports. And then in this section here, once we create ads, you'll start to familiarize yourself with the data fields. And this is where you're going to see all the ad names, the delivery types, the bid strategy, the budgets, and all the other statistics that we need to know when it comes to Facebook ads. Now, just before we create an ad together, the second thing you want to do is competitor research. And we want to run some competitor research because we want to understand what a good ad looks like in your business and find out some competitors and what they're doing with their ads. So one of my favorite tools is the Facebook ad library, and it's literally that. It's a library of ads that we can see. You can reach this page on facebook.com/ads/library. But taking a look here, you can let's set this to all, so to global, and then we can start to find and click all ads, and then we can start to find examples of great ads. Let's just say we're running ads for phone cases, an iPhone case. So all we need to do here is type in iPhone cases and then click enter. And then we can start to see different ads for phone cases, iPhone cases specifically. And now the best way to do this is to find competitor brands, brainstorm competitor brands within your niche and find them directly in the Facebook ad library. So this is a great way initially just to use generic terms like iPhone cases to find very generic ads. They may or may not be performing well, but it gives you a few ideas of what is and maybe isn't working well, and some ideas for creative and ad copy and all of that good stuff. But the best way to do this is, again, to find your competitors. So in this case, let's type in Pure cases. I think it was the first. Yeah, it's this one here, I believe. So I know this is a great iPhone case brand, and so we can directly look at their ads and see what they're doing well. And a great way to find out the ads that are working for them, even though we can't exactly see all the data and all the performance data, I usually like to scroll all the way down to their oldest ads, because if their oldest ads are still running, it's usually a good indicator that those ads are performing well for them. So their oldest ads are in August 2021. And so I like to take a look and click see ad details and just take a overall look at what they're doing, where the ad directs to and what the landing page looks like. So again, this is a great way looking at competitors and getting a good idea of your ads. And I think this is one of the best ways to start, especially if you're new to Facebook ads or you're still a beginner. It's to do competitor research and just get some ideas from there. The second tool I want to mention before we jump in and actually create some ads is a new tool actually called Campaign Ideas Generator. Now, this is a tool that you can reach at facebook.com/business/campaign ideas generator. By the way, I'll leave all the links down below just so it's easier for you all to access. But with this tool, this is a relatively new tool to get campaign ideas. If you don't know what type of campaigns to run, this is a great way to start. It is very generic though, just be wary of that. So all you need to do is say, I have pick your niche. Let's say you're in consumer goods, let's just say, and then I would like campaign suggestions for a specific event or a specific time in the year. Let's just say Easter in this case, and get campaign ideas. And what Facebook will do is it'll trawl through all its campaign data and give you suggestions for some campaign ideas. It will even give you ready to go ads so you can start to see, hey, what might work well. You can also download the JPEGs and the images and start using them as creative. Don't recommend that though. You want to create your own creative and images. So just be wary of that. But again, it's just a good place to start, because I know a lot of people, they're unsure of where to start when it comes to Facebook ads and can be pretty overwhelming. So those are the two tools that I recommend that are directly from Facebook themselves. Now, moving on to actually creating the ad itself, let's jump back into our ads manager. So this is a brand new ads manager, and let's create an ad together. The very first thing you want to do is click on the big green button, click create. And depending on if you have a new ad account, you may get this warning message as well. Nothing to be worried about. You can go complete your account setup later on. But now, first thing you want to do is create a campaign objective. Depending on your goal, you may want to go with any one of these really, depending on what you're selling and what your objective is. But in any case, probably the most two common objectives right here is, of course, conversions, traffic, and engagement. I'm going to go set up a conversions ad just so we can push sales. But this is very broad. It really does depend on what type of business you are running. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. I'll try to get to as many as I can. Let's go with conversions in this case. And then you want to make sure that you name your campaign. You can just name your campaign first off. Don't worry about the ad set in the ad. We can get to that later. And so I like to have a parameter where I just have the campaign goal. So conversion, let's just say. And then let's say iPhone case, and let's just also have the date in here. Now, this is going to be very dependent on, again, how you want to structure your naming conventions, but keep it simple, and let's click continue. Now, we are in the overview of the campaign. We're going to continue. Special ad categories usually doesn't apply to us unless you're in credit, employment, housing, or social issues. And then with campaign details, buying type, auction, just leave it at that. Conversions, we just picked that. Click show more options, and campaign spending limit. If you have a particular budget limit, enter it in now, okay? So you might have a limit of $500 max. And so this is a good time to add it on the campaign level if you have a very particular budget. Now, with A/B split test, what does this mean? This basically means that you're able to split test multiple variants of the ad. So let's just say you want to test to serve the ad to two very different audiences, or you have two very different ads, you can go ahead and click and turn this on. I actually do recommend turning this on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, particularly because this is a brand new ad. And then campaign budget optimization, otherwise known as CBO. I highly recommend turning this on nowadays. This was a feature introduced back in 2019. They've optimized it and it's now a great feature that I highly recommend you turn on. And now finally, the campaign budget. Daily budget or lifetime budget is a common question. Let's say if you are just testing a new product, testing a new ad, I do recommend a daily budget, not a lifetime budget. Lifetime budgets, you do get access to more tools, but that's usually more advanced. We don't need to go into that today. So I typically go with daily budget and just obviously budget out your overall budget for the ads. So let's say you want to spend $100 and you're spending $5. That means you can only run this ad for 10 days. Just be wary of that. So keep an eye on your budget spend, your ad spend every single day when you launch new ads. A campaign bid strategy, that's more advanced. Let's go with lower cost for now, particularly if this is a new ad. And in ad scheduling, we can't edit that because we need to change the campaign budget type. But again, that doesn't matter. Just focus on how much you want to spend per day. And my recommendation here is obviously go with your own budget. But if you're testing a new product, it's okay to go with a fairly low budget, $5 to 10, $15, $20, that's totally fine. So let's stick with $10 here and click next. Now we are in the ad set level, which is underneath the campaign level, and underneath the ad set level, we have the ad level. But first we need to set up the ad set level. So this is where we go manage targeting, we manage optimization and delivery, and we optimize the budget and scheduling and audiences, demographics, etc., etc. So let's start at the very top first. Make sure that you have an ad set name. Again, this totally is subjective and it depends on how you want to set up your naming conventions. I'm going to leave it as a default for now. But typically, as my 2 cents, obviously describe the type of targeting that you want to go with and the type of product that you're testing here. So next thing, conversion event location. Where is the actual conversion happening? So conversion as in what is the action that you want your customers to take? On this case, if we're selling something online, it's obviously on the website. That's where the sales happen. So I'm going to stick with the website. If you haven't already created a Facebook pixel, you can either create that now or you can create that later. I'm going to create this later in this video. So hold on on the pixel for now. If you already have one set up, that's totally great, but let's move on for now. Dynamic creative, let's leave that off. We don't want dynamic creative just yet, especially if we're testing new ads. And then we've already sort of managed the optimization, delivery, and the budget and schedule. So with the start date, what I like to do is start the ad actually the following day, just to make sure that everything is reviewed by Facebook correctly before it actually goes live, and that you can make any amendments just in case before it actually goes live. So I usually pick it to go live the day after the current day that we're setting this ad on. And then set an end date. This is completely up to you. I typically don't like setting an end date, especially if it's a brand new ad. I like to analyze it every day, see how it's going, adjust the budget, optimize the ad. And if it really needs to be killed off, then I'll kill it off manually. Or in other words, I know killing sounds pretty intense, but in other words, just end the ad. So I don't like having an end date right here. Now, the audience. Targeting. This is so extremely important. So with the audience and targeting, I like to go very broad nowadays because Facebook's algorithm has improved so much over the last few years. You can go super broad, especially if we're going with CBO, campaign budget optimization. We can go broad and Facebook will hone in on the people that are more likely to buy on Instagram, Facebook, etc., etc. So in this case, I'm just going to type in iPhone cases and keep it very, very broad. And there is obviously a lot of different targeting strategies, right? In this case, let's pick owns the iPhone. Let's just type in phones actually. So let's just type in mobile phones. So there is a lot of different targeting strategies that we can approach this with, but when we're testing, we want to go broad. And this section here, the audience definition has actually changed. Where it used to be potential reach, it's now called estimated audience size. But if you're using CBO, which I recommend you do, don't be afraid to go broad. So you can see here, if I zoom in right here, the audience selection is currently fairly broad. That's totally okay. I actually recommend going broad rather than specific when you're starting a brand new ad campaign that's not retargeting. Then it's best to avoid being overly specific with your placements. So I know the estimated audience size is huge right now. Typically, I like to go define further and then go with, something that's relevant to the product again. So it's sort of a Venn diagram overlap. Let's click iPhone. And we've niched it down a little bit more. This is totally fine. I won't get too into the targeting audience now because Facebook's algorithm, again, like I mentioned, has improved so much. It's totally okay to go a bit more broad than usual. So languages, I typically like to input English, all. Again, unless you're targeting Chinese speaking individuals or Russian speaking individuals for whatever reason. Otherwise, go with English or. And with placements, now auto placements is fine for beginners. It is also fine for honing in when you're first finding your ideal audiences, but I still do highly recommend that you go with manual placements. This gives you more control of where the ad is placed, whether you just want it on Facebook, whether you just want it on Instagram, on Messenger, etc., and then where it's actually placed within these platforms. So looking at Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, let's just say we want to reach only Facebook and Instagram folks. I'm going to remove Messenger and Audience Network. And then I just want to place it on the newsfeed. So I would tick everything off, have Facebook newsfeed on, stories and reels, that's up to you. And then in stream, I'll turn off, search, I'll turn off, reels, I'll turn off, and in articles, I'll turn off. All right, so we have basically Instagram feed, Facebook news feed, and the Instagram stories and Facebook stories, Instagram reels. I'll turn that off too. So if you're going to go with multiple different placements, you have to make sure that you have a different image, video, or creative for each placement, because it's not the same. As you probably already know, Instagram reels or Instagram stories is different from newsfeed placements. So let's click next after you've selected what you want to place your ad on. And then finally, we have the ad itself. Now, this is where we're going to create the ad, all right? So now creating the ad, make sure that you have your naming convention once again, and then create a page. I don't have a page yet because this is a brand new ad account. If you already have a page, make sure that you connect it to your Facebook ad account. You can do that in the settings. I'll show you in a very quick moment, but otherwise just click create page and follow the prompts and create a new page. And make sure that you tie in your Instagram account if you're placing your ads on Instagram too. Single image, carousel, collection. These are the different types of formats you can pick. Now, if you're looking for a recommendation when it comes to the different types of ads you want to set up, I highly recommend sticking with video as your ad format because video will continue its a huge rise. There's essentially 8 billion video views on Facebook alone daily, according to HubSpot. That's insane. And that's not including the billions more on Instagram. So I highly recommend video. It's just more eyeballs on your ad. It's more highly engaged with, and that doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon. So if you're looking to create video ads very quickly and you're not well versed with video software tools, a great one I recommend is Placeit.net. I've mentioned it plenty of times on this channel and I highly recommend it. I use it all the time. So if you use Placeit.net, and go over to videos, click videos, you're able to very quickly create different types of videos, slideshow videos, Instagram stories, product demos, Instagram videos, which is basically the same as Facebook videos anyway. Once you have your video or your image ready to go, insert it in by clicking add media and then uploading that video or image. And then from here, you need primary text, headline, and description to accompany the ad itself. All right, so with the primary text, this is where it appears under or above, I should say, the video. And this is where you're going to add more information and capture the attention of whoever's scrolling through Instagram or Facebook. The general rule of thumb here is I like to have a hook line at the top, and then I like to just have a description of the product itself. Just remember, you're not here to sell the product per se. The role of the primary text, the ad copy, and the video is to just attract the click. You want people to click through to the website, and the website, the landing page, is there for you to sell to the customer, the potential customer, I should say. So make sure that you have a very strong hook line, just a single sentence, a few words, and then of course you have the product description. And so from what I have found, emojis work really well. I've split tested many different ads in the past, and I like having emojis as part of the ad and the primary text. But of course, just be wary that this is also dependent on your brand. If your brand is extremely professional, then maybe ditch the emojis. It really depends on your brand and your ads. And then the headline, again, similar to the hook line, you want this to capture the attention and also the click of the person that's scrolling through. Description, again, having some support text where it will attract people to click through to the ad. And then this is a relatively new feature. It's called optimized text per person. So this is essentially a feature where it will optimize and customize the headline and the structure of the text to the viewer based on Facebook's algorithm. I just like to have this on. I haven't dived too deep into how well this works, but it doesn't seem to hurt our ads from what I have seen so far. If you're brand new, this is probably a great option for you to turn on. And then call to action, this is the button text that will appear for the ad. So again, depending on if you're pushing leads, if you want more customers for your real estate business, for example, then you might want to have a sign up button. If you have an e-commerce business, then it might be, learn more, etc., etc. It could be to order now, purchase now, buy now. So I'm just going to go with shop now, since we're selling on an e-commerce platform. And the destination will be a specific website. Go input your specific website here. Or you could be setting up a Facebook shop, which is a store on the Facebook ad platform. If you don't know how to set that up, I've got a tutorial on the channel. Just go ahead and click website and shop if that's the case. And there's a few other options here, but in most cases it'll be website. So let's stick with website there. Ad languages, we don't need to translate our ad to different languages. And then tracking. So tracking is very important, okay? So make sure that you do set up your pixel. I'll show you this in one moment. And then you have URL parameters. What is this? Well, this is essentially a tag that helps you identify where the user has come from: channel, medium, campaign, audience, and creative. It's also known as a UTM tag in the digital marketing world. But yeah, if you really want to understand where the audience is coming from, which is a very important feature when you start to become more of an advanced Facebook ad user. But for now, feel free to keep it simple. You don't really need URL parameters, but if you do want one, click build a URL parameter and start filling out this, and it'll help you create a parameter with campaign source, medium, campaign name, and the content type. So once that's all done, don't publish it yet. Just exit and save the draft. All right, don't click publish draft item. So I'm gonna close that. So you have the draft and all the edits saved right here. It automatically saves as you're going on, which is extremely useful. Now what you wanna do is create an audience, all right? So this is what I recommend you do. I know we just created one in the ad set level, but what we're going to do is click all tools and then move on to audiences here. And this is where the magic happens. This is extremely important. So very quickly showing you the different audience types here. We have custom audiences, which is audiences that you might upload and create custom audiences with. So for example, you might grab the data from your emailing list and create a custom audience and focus on that audience. Or you might focus on the website traffic that you've been getting. So we can essentially target those customers that have already visited your website, and that might be a single customer audience. That's a few examples. A lookalike audience is great for scaling up your ads and reaching more customers that will potentially buy from you. So say, for example, you found an audience that is working terrific. Let's just say it might be your emailing list. You're able to create a lookalike audience based on that data, and then Facebook will find audiences very similar to that audience that you've given them, and then that in effect will create a brand new audience for you to reach that will potentially work quite well. Then you have saved audiences. This is great actually, and this is what I wanted to show you. I would create saved audiences rather than inputting every single time a brand new audience when you're creating new ads. This is a great way to create a whole bunch of audiences that you can quickly pick from. So let's say you tested a few ads already and they have worked well. Go ahead and go use the audiences tool and create that saved audience and name it. Give it a name, because this is great for very quickly picking up great audiences and selecting that audience again. So take some time and create a custom audience if you have one. Lookalike audiences is something that you want to focus on later, and create a saved audience, which is what I recommend you do basically straight away. But before we go live with our ad, make sure that you have your pixel set up. So I'll show you how to do that right now and how to do that correctly with all the changes happening. So go ahead and go back into the hamburger menu and then click Events Manager. So on this page, you're either going to see number one, a pixel that you already have, which is what you're seeing right here, or number two, if you don't already have a pixel, it's going to prompt you to create a pixel. So it's going to auto-generate some code, and then you're going to place that code on your website. It's very hard to tell you what to do with that pixel because it really does depend on the platform that you're using. But if you're using Shopify, for example, it's very easy to integrate that. If you click Partner Integrations here, and then you can follow the prompts here. So you can click Shopify Online, click See Details, and then you can see exactly how to connect your account and connect that pixel. Another new method to set up a quote unquote pixel is through custom API conversions, and that is something a little bit more complex. I'll leave a link down below in the description if you're interested in custom API conversions. And what that does is basically it's a bit more complex in its analytics and its tracking, because it bypasses what has happened in the past few years, which is, you know, the whole iOS issues, and it's harder to track now with privacy concerns. So long story short, custom APIs really helps with better tracking overall, but I won't get into too much detail here because particularly if you're a beginner, it does get quite confusing really quickly. But I'll leave resources down below if you're interested in upping your game when it comes to tracking, which is very important if you're stepping up your ads game. So the next step from here is to go live and optimize your ads and start to retarget your customers, which means to place ads in front of those who have visited your website or has already shown interest in your business, or even has already purchased from your business, and then upsell them, downsell them, cross-sell them. This is practically where most of your sales will come from. So retargeting is extremely important. And to do retargeting well is basically a whole other tutorial in itself. So what I'll do is leave a link to a free web class you can view and learn an advanced retargeting strategy to build your audiences and grow your sales by putting the right ads in front of the right people at the right time. So I'll leave a link to that lengthy web class in the description box below. But if you have 30 minutes to spare, I totally recommend you watch it at some point if you're serious about Facebook ads and digital marketing. I think it's also worth noting that we host a full Facebook ads course called Social Marketing Mastery if you're interested in learning the complete ins and outs of social media ads and getting mentorship from myself and the team, because Facebook ads is extremely confusing and intimidating initially. I know I know I was beyond confused when I first set up my first few tragic Facebook ads, but we're constantly updating the course with the latest strategies and goodies to stay on top of digital marketing. So I'll drop a link down below if you're interested in that. Either way, check out the video notes and links down below if you're looking to learn more Facebook ads at your own pace. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, you're an absolute trooper. Hopefully you're now that much better equipped to launch winning and converting Facebook ads that bring your business to the next level. Comment the code word Facebook ad scaler if you indeed made it this far into the video, and I'll give it a like. And speaking of liking things, don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe for marketing, business, and tech content. As always, thank you for watching.